Digging beyond the headlines. Now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am now joined by INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye. A lawyer, Okoye served as the chairman of the Transition Monitoring Group, a coalition of Nigerian civil society groups between 2002 and 2006. He also served as the executive director of Human Rights Monitor and the national coordinator of the Independent Election Monitoring Group. Okoye was appointed INEC National Commissioner in July 2018, and he supervises Anambra, Benue, and Enugu State. I thank you very much for joining us tonight. All right, so INEC recently announced to Nigerians that there were about 600 litigation arising from the primaries of political parties. How exactly is this state of affairs hampering INEC preparation for the elections?
Well, you know that prior to the promulgation of the Electoral Act 2022, pre-election and the amendment of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, pre-election litigation didn't have any time limitation. So it can last for a period of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and even 5 years. But with the fourth alteration to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, those who have challenges, who have issues with pre-election matters, have been given a period of 14 days within which to activate the machinery of the law and ventilate their grievances. And then the Court of First Instance has 180 days within which to hear and determine the matter. And then the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have equal period of 60 days each to hear and determine the matters. Now, we thought that this was going to stem the tide of pre-election litigation. Unfortunately, the bulk of the election litigation arising from the conduct of party primaries relates to what I may likely call the opaque nature of some of the party primaries. And so that has given rise to this spate of litigations. And the Commission has been joined in almost all these litigations, in over 600 litigations. And we are battling with some of these litigations. Now, we thought that we could have some breathing space to fully and comprehensively prepare on time for this election, print all the necessary ballot papers and resources, and get ready for the election. But apparently, we have to wait for some of these pre-election matters to be disposed of before we take a major step in terms of ballot papers and resources. And so it's a source of concern, and we are confident that with the new measures taken by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court and the President of the Court of Appeal in constituting special panels to hear some of these matters, that some of these matters will be heard expeditiously, judgments given, and then the Commission will prepare for the printing of ballot papers and the printing of resources and other electoral materials.
All right, so as a lawyer, do you really think there is a solution to all of this?
I think that there's a solution. The first solution is that political parties must imbibe the spirit of internal party democracy. In fact, they must imbibe the spirit of doing things in the right way. If the law, especially Section 84 and Section 82 of the Electoral Act 2022, has said that political parties must conduct primaries in the manner set out in the law. They must conduct primaries in the manner set out by the law. If the law says that political parties must conduct their party primaries in the senatorial district, in the federal constituency, in the state constituency, as prescribed by the law, they have an obligation, a constitutional and legal and electoral obligation to do that. It is when people try to cut corners with the law, when people want to go outside the framework and mechanisms of the law and do things that are not right, do things that are wrong, that you have this type of challenge. That is one. Secondly, political parties must have a self-regulating mechanism. A political party has a constitution, has guidelines, and has rules. A political party cannot willfully breach its own rules and breach its own regulations and thereby disqualifying and disenfranchising those who have legitimately purchased forms to contest party primary elections. So political parties must respect their own rules and respect their own constitution. The third is that political parties must genuinely and justly submit the name of the candidate that won party primary elections. When a political party conducts primaries and the candidate emerges, and then at the end of the day, the name of somebody who did not contest the party primaries, who did not emerge from valid party primaries, is submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission. It breeds discontent, it breeds anger, and also it leads to some of these spate of litigations. And so when political parties begin to do the right thing in the right manner and at the right time, some of these spate of litigations will definitely reduce.
Okay, as we speak, there are some peculiar cases in Ogun State and Zamfara State. I would like you to respond to that. What's the situation right now amid all of these conflicting court rulings?
Sir, today, the situation in so many states of the Federation can be said to be very fluid. Some of the matters have gone to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal has given judgment in some of them. Some of the persons involved have gone to the Supreme Court to go and ventilate their grievances. In some of the states, there are conflicting judgments from courts of coordinate jurisdiction. We are looking at some of these things. But as you know, under Section 287 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, the Independent National Electoral Commission is a commission, it's an agency of government. And as a commission, as an agency of government, we have a duty, we have a constitutional right and a constitutional obligation to give effect to orders from properly constituted court of law. We have not been given the task of electoral adjudication. The task of electoral adjudication has been given to a different organ of government, to a different agency. And so our obligation is to organize, undertake, and supervise elections. And that is our mandate. The task of resolving electoral disputes, especially pre-election disputes and post-election disputes, resides with a different agency of government. And that's exactly what is going on at the moment.
All right, so amid all of these court cases, at what point can INEC say that it has had enough and will roll out the final list of candidates for the elections?
The Commission has published the final list of candidates standing nominated for this particular, for the 2023 general election. We have already released our the final list of candidates. However, the Section 285 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as Section 29 and Section 84 of the Electoral Act, gives aspirants and candidates in the election and political parties the right to go to court, especially to the Federal High Court, and go and complain about one thing or the other. And constitutionally and legally, the moment a court of law says, accept the name of this particular candidate and replace with another one, we will definitely do that. The moment the court says a political party did not conduct party primaries well and gives the political party a period of 14 days to conduct fresh party primaries, we are under a constitutional and legal obligation to monitor such primaries. And so there is no period we can say we have had enough. The moment the Supreme Court, as the final court of the land, disposes a particular matter, the implication is that that matter is final for all times. So it is only when the Supreme Court delivers its judgment that we can say we have had enough, because that is the final court of the land. After the Supreme Court judgment, there is no appeal to any other place.
All right, so going by the recent attacks on INEC facilities, if these attacks continue, do you foresee a postponement of the 2023 elections?
The issue of postponement of the 2023 general election is not on the table. This commission has made it very clear that we are not going to allow elections to be postponed or rescheduled on account of logistics or logistic challenges anymore. And so the issue of postponing election is not even on the table. Moreover, if you look at Section 132 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you can see that the conduct of elections in Nigeria has been constitutionally and legally circumscribed. And the moment you fall off the radar, the moment you fall of that constitutional window, you create a constitutional crisis, and nobody will know how that constitutional crisis will end. So the issue of postponement does not arise. Those who are trying to, certain INEC offices ablaze, and those who are trying to destroy the commission are really engaged in the exercise in futility, because this commission is determined to pull through with this particular election, because that's the job we have been given, and that's the job we are definitely going to undertake. Yes, they are distracting the commission. They are making the cost of conducting elections very high, because we have to replace some of these non-sensitive materials that have already been purchased and have already been deployed. But we have sufficient time to recover. But anybody who is thinking that by going to go and attack INEC offices or burn INEC facilities or destroy the commission, that we are going to postpone the election or reschedule the election, or in any way tamper with our timetable and schedule of activities, is just engaged in exercise in futility. This election we hold, and this election must hold. And the Nigerian people are determined that the election will go on and that they're going to participate fully in this election.
All right, so what then will happen to those areas where elections might not or will not take place?
We cannot at this moment make a determination of where elections will take place and where elections will not take place, because the first election in Nigeria will take place on the 25th of February. And in the places where we have security challenges, the different security agencies have assured the commission and have also assured the Nigerian people that they have the capacity to degrade these security challenges and neutralize some of those who are creating problems well ahead of the election. And so we continue to monitor the situation, we continue to cooperate with them, and we continue to prepare for this election. And our desire and our hope is that this election will take place in the 176,846 polling units throughout the federation, and we are determined to pull that through.
All right, then, fantastic. Now let's talk about the training of INEC personnel. Who will be handling equipment like BVAS for the election, and has the training begun?
We've already started the training of our registration area technical support staff, who are going to be charged with the responsibility of also training the other support staff that will handle the BVAS and other electronic devices that the commission will deploy. As you know, we have 8,809 registration areas or wards. We are going to have registration area technical support staff in all these places, and they will be trained. Then we are going to deploy ad hoc staff to all the polling units in Nigeria. This ad hoc staff will be trained. And so we are presently training the core staff who are going to undertake the training of the core election duty staff who will handle this equipment. From our interaction, from our experience during the Ekiti and Osun governorship election, it is very clear to us that when you train the election duty staff for a longer period, they master the equipment and they get used to the equipment. And that was why we recorded few challenges with the BVAS in Ekiti and in Osun governorship election. So we are going to give them better training, more robust training, and we are confident that the BVAS will work and work optimally during the election. And in case there are challenges or problems in a few places, we are training the registration area technical support staff to intervene and intervene decisively. But everything we do will be dependent on our administrative capacity and also the provisions of the law.
Okay, then. Now, many Nigerians are already nursing this fear that the BVAS will be bypassed, especially in those remote parts of the country. The same way the country that was bypassed for the 2015 elections, 2019, and some off-season elections of 2020.
There is no way you can bypass the BVAS and have an election. Section 47, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act has made it mandatory that to vote, that the presiding officer shall use the smart card reader or any other electronic device introduced by the Independent National Electoral Commission for the purposes of authenticating and verifying the candidate, the voter who has come to vote. So it is a mandatory requirement of the law. And the law has also made it very clear that at the end of voting in any polling unit, when the results have been sorted out and counted and have been entered into from EC8A, which is the polling unit level result, that the presiding officer has a duty, a legal duty, to snap and transmit that polling unit level result into the INEC result viewing portal. The presiding officer also has a responsibility to transmit the accreditation data direct from the polling unit. It is this accreditation data and the result transmitted directly from the polling unit together with the physical result that will be carried by the presiding officer to the collation center that will be used in making a determination, that will be used in collating the result for the first level of collation, which is the registration area collation center. So if you bypass the BVAS, there is no way you can transmit polling unit level result, and there's no way you can transmit the data from the BVAS direct from the polling unit. And you have to, the presiding officer must also take the BVAS and the original result sheet to the collation center. So if you bypass the BVAS, there will not be any data, accreditation data on the BVAS, and you cannot have the manual result corresponding with the electronically transmitted result. So it's next to impossibility to bypass the BVAS and have a result.
All right, Mr. Okoye, is there a guarantee that the BVAS will work in all polling units across the country?
The BVAS works offline. The BVAS does not work with any network. It works offline. So the only thing that works with the networks is when you want to upload the polling unit level result into our INEC result viewing portal. But in terms of the BVAS, in terms of issues for voter accreditation and voter verification, it works offline. So the issue of whether there's network in any part of the country or not does not even arise. Moreover, since 2020, the Commission has conducted 105 off-cycle elections, and we use the BVAS in these 105 off-cycle elections, and we transmitted election results from these 105 locations in real time, without any problem whatsoever and without any challenge. So we have done our homework, and we have assured the Nigerian people that we have the capacity to do the work we have been asked to do, and we will definitely do that work.
Okay, now, do you think INEC officials have the will to implement its rule book completely?
I believe they do. The bulk of our election duty staff are young men and women doing their national youth service. And in all the elections that we have deployed them to, most of them, majority of them have performed well and performed creditably, despite all the odds, despite all the challenges, despite all the risk they face. Then the assistant presiding officer 1, 2, and 3 are likely going to be students of federal tertiary institutions in their penultimate year. And so they have been doing well and in previous elections. And we are confident that they're also going to do well in the 2023 general election. So we don't have any fear whatsoever. Moreover, we are going to train them and train them well. And we're also going to make it very clear to them that the Electoral Act 2022 has prescribed very stiff penalties for those who try to corrupt the electoral process, or those who try to do what is wrong. And so all these things will be pointed out to them, and it will not be their choice to subject themselves to this higher national interest in assisting the country conduct free, fair, transparent, and inclusive election, or going home and not assisting the nation. The choice is theirs. But in the previous elections that have assisted the Commission in conducting, they have done well, and they have done very well.
All right, then. I asked this question because the INEC rule says where elections are characterized by violence, no results shall return from such polling centers. But sometimes we see results coming from polling centers where voting was disrupted due to violence.
There are two issues involved here.
Okay.
The Electoral Act 2022 has given the Commission the right and the power and the virus to stop an election where there has been substantial disruption of the process, and then fix a new date for proceeding with that particular election. Secondly, when we are deploying our ad hoc staff, we train them that if, for instance, they have been held hostage and they have been asked to do the wrong thing, that they have to do what the hostage takers have asked them to do and then report back to the commission, because at that particular moment, what is at stake is their life. And so the moment they get out of the hostage situation, then we can deal with the issues arising from that particular situation. But the situation you are describing is not a normal occurrence. It's not an everyday occurrence in terms of the electoral process. And we believe that the political parties are going to rein in their supporters to make sure that we conduct an election that is peaceful, an election that is free, and also an election that everybody will be proud of.
All right. On a final note, you came out recently to debunk rumors that the INEC chairman's job was under threat. I would like to know, is he sufficiently motivated to continue to do his job despite all of these challenges he's facing?
The chairman of the commission received the EU pre-election delegation today in Abuja. Right now, as I speak to you, the chairman of the commission has just arrived Lagos to preside over a meeting of all the resident electoral commissioners throughout the federation and the administrative secretaries of the commission and the directors of the commission. Because in Lagos, we have to do more or less like an induction and a retreat for the newly appointed resident electoral commissioners. Not only that, we're also going to consider the standard operating procedure for PVC collection. And the chairman will also announce the timetable and schedule for PVC collection. And so the man is motivated. He is doing his work. He's not looking back. He's looking at history. And he's also looking at what the Nigerian people want. Because as far as the commission is concerned, our responsibility and our reportage is to the people of this country. And that is exactly what the chairman is focused on. This chairman is focused. This chairman is courageous. This chairman has decided that it is in the higher national interest to do the right thing. And he's completely focused and he's working assiduously to deliver on the mandate of the commission.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Festus Okoye, an INEC National Commissioner in charge of information and voter education. Thank you very much for coming on the program tonight. Thank you.
I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.